I walked into the kitchen that Tuesday morning, coffee mug in hand, trying to look as casual as possible. My wife Sarah breezed in, stopped dead in her tracks when she saw me, and her face went through about 5 different expressions in 2 seconds. "You didn't leave?" she asked, her voice doing that thing where it goes up at the end like she'd just seen a ghost wearing my bathrobe. "The trip is canceled," I replied, taking a slow sip of my coffee. She just stood there, frozen, hands still on the refrigerator door. And that's when I knew for certain that everything I'd suspected over the past 3 months wasn't just paranoia or some midlife crisis making me see problems that weren't there. That look on her face told me everything I needed to know. My name is Marcus Chen. I am 34 years old, and up until about 3 months ago, I thought I had a pretty good life. I work as a data analyst for a tech company in Seattle, the kind of job that pays well enough that we could afford our nice little house in the suburbs with the white fence and everything. Not that I cared much about the fence, but Sarah always said it made the place look complete. I should have paid more attention to what else she thought needed completing. We'd been married for 6 years, met at a friend's barbecue, did the whole dating thing, got married at this venue overlooking Puget Sound that cost more than my first car. Everyone said we were perfect together. Her friends, my friends, our parents, random people at Costco who felt the need to comment on how we were looking at kitchen mixers together. Picture perfect, they said. I'm not the jealous type. Never have been. I trusted Sarah completely, which, in retrospect, was probably my first mistake. My second mistake was being good at my job, because being good at pattern recognition in spreadsheets apparently makes you good at spotting patterns in your wife's behavior, too. It started small. She got a new job at a marketing firm downtown about 4 months ago, and suddenly she was working late a lot. That's normal, right? New job, trying to impress the bosses, climbing that corporate ladder. Then came the new clothes. Designer stuff, way above what her salary could justify, but she said they were having incredible sales. Then her phone became surgically attached to her hand, and she started taking calls in the other room, coming back with these elaborate explanations about work drama that I didn't ask about. But the real kicker? She stopped arguing with me. That might sound like a good thing to some people, but anyone who's been in a real relationship knows that couples argue about stupid stuff. What to have for dinner, whose turn it is to take out the trash, whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. When someone stops caring enough to argue about whether you squeezed the toothpaste tube wrong, that's when you know something's died. 3 weeks ago, my company announced they were sending me to a tech conference in Austin. 5 days, all expenses paid, the whole deal. I mentioned it to Sarah at dinner, expecting her to be disappointed, or at least pretend to be. Instead, her eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. "That's amazing, honey," she'd said, a little too enthusiastically. "When do you leave?" I told her the dates. She immediately pulled out her phone and started typing something, barely able to contain the smile. Said she was just updating her calendar. Sure, because my business trip definitely needed to be on her personal calendar with that much urgency. That's when I decided to do something I'm not particularly proud of. I checked her text messages. Not my finest moment, I'll admit, but desperate times and all that. I waited until she was in the shower, used her birthday as the passcode because she's not exactly a criminal mastermind, and there it was. Messages to someone named Jess from work that were definitely not about work unless her company had started offering very personal services. The texts were detailed, about how she couldn't wait for me to leave, about this romantic getaway they had planned, about how after this trip they needed to talk about their future together. There were heart emojis. So many heart emojis. I almost laughed at how cliché it all was. Here's the thing about finding out your wife is cheating. In the movies, guys punch walls and scream and throw things. Real life is weirder. I just stood there, in our bedroom, holding her phone, listening to the shower run, and felt numb, like my brain couldn't quite process what my eyes were seeing. Then the numbness turned into something else. Not anger, not yet. More like this cold, calculating clarity. I took pictures of everything with my phone. Screenshots, the works. Then I did something that would have made my IT security team proud and horrified in equal measure. I cloned her phone's data to mine, using this app I'd heard about from a coworker who'd been through a messy divorce. Every text, every call, every email. All syncing to my device in real time. Turns out, Jess from work was actually Jason from the gym. Because of course it was. The guy looked exactly you'd expect, all jawline and carefully groomed stubble and gym selfies. His profile picture showed him at some CrossFit competition holding a trophy, probably for being the world's biggest cliché.
For the next 2 weeks, I played the perfect husband. I smiled, I asked about her day, I pretended not to notice when she'd sneak off to text him. I watched my wife transform into a stranger right in front of me, and I documented everything. Every late night at the office, every girls' dinner that her friends didn't seem to know about when I casually asked them, every lie built on top of another lie. The day before my trip, I told my boss I had a family emergency. He was cool about it, said the conference could wait, to take care of what I needed to take care of. Then I called my lawyer, a guy named Tom, who I'd gone to college with, laid out everything I had, asked him what I needed to do to protect myself. "You planning to file?" he asked. "Eventually," I said, "but first, I want to see how far she'll take this." Tom laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You're playing with fire, Marcus." "Good," I replied. "She should have thought about that before she decided to burn down our marriage." So here we are, Tuesday morning, me standing in my kitchen in my pajamas when I should be on a plane to Austin, and Sarah looking like someone just told her the apocalypse got rescheduled. "What do you mean canceled?" she finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. I shrugged, going for maximum casual effect. "Boss called last night. Conference got postponed. Something about the venue double booking. Real mess apparently, so I figured, hey, why waste the vacation days? Might as well take the week off anyway. Spend some quality time at home." The color drained from her face. "Quality time? At home? This week?" "Yep, the whole week. Isn't that great? We never get time like this together anymore. I was thinking we could do all those things we keep saying we should do. You know, clean out the garage, finally organize the photo albums, maybe binge that show you keep talking about." I paused, watching her squirm. "Unless you had other plans." No, plans. Just, work. I have work." "On your vacation week?" I smiled, remembering the email I'd seen her send to her boss 2 weeks ago requesting the same dates off. "I thought you took this week off too." "What a coincidence." She actually flinched. "Right. Yeah, I did. I mean, I was going to use it to catch up on stuff around the house since you'd be gone. But this is better. Us both being home, together, for the whole week." The panic in her eyes was almost beautiful. Almost made the past 3 months of being made a fool worth it. Almost. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, once, twice, 3 times. She didn't move to check it, just stood there, trapped between me and the refrigerator, looking like she wanted to melt into the floor. "You gonna get that?" I asked. "It's probably just work," she muttered. "I thought you were on vacation." They still might need me for emergencies." "Must be some emergency. That's the 4th time your phone's gone off in the last minute." I tilted my head, studying her like she was one of my data sets. "Everything okay, honey?" She swallowed hard. "Everything's fine. Just fine. I should go respond to that. Work emergency, like I said." She practically ran out of the kitchen. I heard her footsteps thunder up the stairs, heard our bedroom door close maybe a little too firmly. Through the app on my phone, I watched the messages pop up in real time. "Jason, where are you? I'm at the airport." Jason. Sarah. Our flight leaves in 2 hours. Jason. Are you serious right now? Then Sarah's response. Emergency. Can't make it. I'm so sorry. He didn't leave. His trip got canceled. What? Are you kidding me? I took the whole week off for this. I paid for the hotel already. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you. How? When? This is ridiculous, Sarah. I'm done playing second fiddle to your boring husband. I actually laughed out loud at that. Boring husband. The boring husband who is currently orchestrating the most satisfying revenge plot of his life. But sure, boring. I heard Sarah moving around upstairs, probably pacing, definitely panicking. My phone buzzed with more messages between them, increasingly frantic on her end, increasingly angry on his. He was at SeaTac Airport, waiting for her, watching their romantic getaway dissolve in real time. She was upstairs, trapped in a house with the husband she'd been planning to betray for a week in Cabo. Yeah, Cabo. I'd seen the hotel reservation. 5-star resort, ocean view suite, couples spa package, all on our joint credit card. Which was bold of her. Either she was incredibly stupid or thought I was, and I wasn't sure which was more insulting. I poured myself another cup of coffee and opened my laptop at the kitchen table. Might as well get comfortable. This was going to be a very long, very interesting week. Around noon, Sarah finally came back downstairs. She'd changed clothes 3 times based on the sounds I'd been hearing and settled on jeans and a t-shirt, probably trying to look casual and definitely failing. Her eyes were red, and she had that blotchy look people get when they've been cry-texting. I thought I'd go out, she announced. Get some groceries, since you're home and all. Great idea, I said, not looking up from my laptop. I'll come with you. Haven't been to the store together in ages. No, she caught herself. I mean, you don't have to. I know you wanted to relax. You should rest. Enjoy your time off. I insist. I closed my laptop and stood up. What kind of husband would I be if I let you do all the shopping alone? Besides, we can make a day of it. Maybe grab lunch somewhere. Really make the most of this unexpected time together. She looked like she might cry, or throw up, or both. Sure. That sounds nice. We drove to Whole Foods in complete silence, except for the radio playing some pop song about love and trust, and irony apparently being dead. Sarah kept checking her phone, typing furiously, then deleting whatever she'd written. Jason was still texting her, getting increasingly nasty. He'd gone from boring husband to some creative insults I'd have to remember for later. Apparently, I was also a ball and chain, a dead weight, and my personal favorite, probably terrible in bed. Everything okay? I asked as we pulled into the parking lot. You seem distracted. Just work stuff, she mumbled. Thought you were on vacation. I am. They need me to... Look, can we just shop? We spent 2 hours in that grocery store. 2 excruciating hours where I insisted we debate every single purchase. Did we want the organic tomatoes or regular? Should we get the fancy cheese or stick with our usual? What about trying a new pasta sauce? I became the most annoying husband in Seattle, and I was enjoying every second of watching Sarah's sanity slowly slip away as her phone kept buzzing, and she couldn't check it because I was right there asking her opinion on breakfast cereals. By the time we got home, Jason had sent 43 messages and called 12 times. She hadn't been able to respond to any of them. I unloaded groceries with the kind of slow, methodical precision usually reserved for disarming bombs, while Sarah practically vibrated with the need to run upstairs and explain to her boyfriend why she'd just abandoned him at the airport. I need to use the bathroom, she finally blurted out, as I was carefully organizing canned goods by size. Sure thing, I smiled. Take your time. I'll finish up here. She sprinted upstairs. Through my phone, I watched the message she sent. I can't talk. He won't leave me alone. I'm trapped. Please understand. I'll call when I can. Jason's response was immediate and not family-friendly. Apparently, understanding was not on the table. He called her 17 names, accused her of using him, and announced he was going to Cabo alone and would be sending her his therapy bills. Sarah came back downstairs 20 minutes later, looking like she'd aged 5 years. "You know what?" I said, as if inspiration had just struck me. "Maybe we should do something special, like renew our vows." She actually stumbled. "What?" "Yeah, I've been thinking about it. We never really celebrated our anniversary properly last year, and 6 years is a big deal. We could have a little ceremony, just us and some close friends. Really recommit to each other. What do you think?" The look on her face was priceless. Pure, unfiltered horror. That's a big decision, Marcus. We should think about it." "What's to think about?" I moved closer to her, watching her try not to back away. "Unless you're having second thoughts about us?" "No, of course not. It's expensive, and we'd need time to plan." "Money's not an issue. I've been saving up for something special anyway." That wasn't exactly true, but watching her panic was worth any lie. "And we've got all week. We could start planning right now." Her phone buzzed again. We both looked at it. She didn't reach for it. "Actually, I just remembered I have a work thing tomorrow. Can't get out of it. Emergency meeting." "Thought you were on vacation." "I am, but it's important." "More important than planning our vow renewal?" She looked like she wanted to scream. "It's just one meeting, a few hours. Then I'm all yours, all week, completely devoted to us." The word devoted coming out of her mouth almost made me laugh, but I held it together. "Well, if it's that important, sure, but you're all mine after that." "Deal?" "Deal," she said weakly. That night, I pretended to fall asleep early. Through the app, I watched Sarah text Jason from the bathroom, explaining that she'd try to sneak out tomorrow, that she was sorry, that she still loved him, that her husband was being clingy. She even had the audacity to call me clingy. Me, the guy who'd been giving her space for months while she planned to run off with Captain CrossFit.
One chance. Coffee tomorrow. You better show up or we're done. I'll be there, I promise. I love you. I rolled over in bed, smiled in the darkness, and started planning day 2 of the best, worst week of her life. The next morning, Sarah was up before me, already dressed in one of her new outfits, the ones I was supposedly too boring to notice. She was putting on makeup when I walked into the bathroom. "Big meeting, huh?" I said, watching her jump. "Yeah, really important client." "Want me to make you breakfast before you go?" She checked her watch. "No time. I'll grab something there." "At least let me drive you. Where's the meeting?" "Downtown, but I'll take my car. Might need to run errands after." "What kind of errands?" "Just errands, Marcus. Normal errands." She was getting snappy now, stressed. "Good." Okay. But let's have lunch after. There's this new place I've been wanting to try." "Maybe. I'll text you." "Promise?" She looked at me, really looked at me, and for a second I thought I saw something there. Guilt, maybe, or fear, or maybe just annoyance that her perfectly planned affair was falling apart like a house of cards. "Promise," she said. I watched her leave, watched her car pull out of the driveway, and then I did something that would make a PI proud. I pulled up the tracking app I'd installed on her phone 3 days ago. I know, but desperate times, remember? She wasn't going downtown. She was heading north, toward a coffee shop in Ballard, the same coffee shop where she'd met Jason twice before, according to her location history. I got dressed, grabbed my keys, and followed at a distance. Not close enough for her to spot me, but close enough to watch her meet Jason outside the cafe. Watch him grab her arms like he was angry. Watch them argue for 10 minutes before going inside. I parked across the street, pulled out my phone, and watched the messages come through. Jason was furious. Sarah was apologizing. He called her selfish. She cried. He softened. She promised it would all be worth it soon, that she just needed more time,
that her husband was suspicious and she had to be careful. That last part wasn't technically wrong. They sat in that cafe for 2 hours. 2 hours of her lying to my face via text message about her important meeting that kept running long. 2 hours of watching the woman I married plot her exit strategy with another man. 2 hours of taking pictures that my lawyer would very much appreciate. When they finally left, she kissed him, right there on the street, in the middle of the day, in my neighborhood. Bold. Stupid, but bold. I drove home before her, made it back with 5 minutes to spare, and was sitting on the couch when she walked in. "Hey," I said cheerfully, "how was the meeting?" "Exhausting," she sighed, not meeting my eyes. "Really intense client." "Yeah? What kind of account is it?" "Just tech stuff. You wouldn't find it interesting." "Try me. I work in tech, remember?" She froze. "It's complicated, client confidentiality and all that." "Right. Of course." I smiled. "You smell like coffee. Must have been a coffee meeting." "Yeah, lots of coffee. Too much coffee." She laughed, high and nervous. "I'm going to change." While she was upstairs, I texted Tom. Got more photos. She met him today, public display of affection included. Tom, you're building one hell of a case. But seriously, how much longer are you planning to torture yourself with this? Me. Just getting started. Still have 4 days of her vacation week left. Tom, you're either a genius or a masochist. Me. Can't I be both? Sarah came back downstairs in sweats, looking drained. "What do you want to do for dinner?" "Actually, I was thinking we could go out. Nice restaurant, get dressed up, do the whole romantic thing. We haven't had a real date night in forever." "Tonight, can't we just stay in? I'm exhausted." "Come on, it'll be fun. When's the last time we actually went on a date?" She looked like she'd rather walk on glass. "Fine, okay. Let me rest for an hour first." "Perfect. Make a reservation for 7? While she napped, or pretended to nap, I made a reservation at the Italian place where we had our first date. Romantic, right? Full circle. Except this time, I knew exactly what I was doing. At dinner, I was the perfect husband. Pulled out her chair, ordered wine, asked about her day, laughed at the right moments, touched her hand across the table. And the whole time, I watched her squirm, knowing she'd spent the morning in another man's arms, making plans to leave me. "Remember our first date?" I asked over dessert. "You wore that blue dress. I spilled wine on the table trying to impress you with some story about work." "I remember," she said quietly. "What happened to us, Sarah?" She looked up sharply. "What do you mean?" "I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we're just going through the motions. Like you're not really here anymore." For a second, just a second, I thought she might confess. Her eyes got watery, her lip trembled. But then she pulled herself together. "I'm here," she said. "I'm right here." "Are you, though?" "Marcus, where is this coming from?" I shrugged. "Just been thinking. About us. About what we want. About whether we're happy." "Are you happy?" she asked, and there was something desperate in her voice. "I thought I was," I said honestly. "Now I'm not so sure. Are you?" She didn't answer right away. "I think we just need to reconnect. Like tonight. This is nice." "Yeah," I agreed. "It is nice. We should do this more often. Really make an effort. Don't you think?" She nodded, looking miserable. "Definitely." We drove home in silence. I could practically hear her thinking, trying to figure out if I knew, if I was testing her, or if I was really just a clueless husband trying to save a marriage that was already dead. The truth? All of the above. That night, as she lay in bed pretending to sleep, Jason texted her.
When can I see you again? I need you. Her response, soon, I promise. He's being weird. I think he might suspect something. Jason, then leave him. We've talked about this. Sarah, it's not that simple. I need time to figure things out. Jason, you always need more time. I'm starting to think you're never going to leave him. Sarah, I will. I love you. Just trust me. I rolled over, stared at the ceiling, and made a decision. 3 more days. 3 more days of this performance, and then I'd drop the hammer. But first, I was going to make sure she understood exactly what she was losing. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking with my story. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's just refusing to be the fool anymore. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about people who refuse to settle for less than they deserved. Drop a comment and let me know what you would have done differently. Would you have confronted her immediately or played the long game like I did? See you in the next one.